Hello, sports fans, and welcome to another edition of Scott Sports 101 NFL Football Sunday. Since I didn't get to do a early games pregame show, we're going to combine and call it a early games postgame show, late games pregame show. We'll combine, and so we're going to talk about. It was a heartbreaking loss for the Browns today, and I feel we should have won that. And we'll talk about that in just a moment. We'll go over all the early game scores, but first, here is today's Scott Sports 101 NFL Football Sunday Week 2 trivia question, and it is a Browns one. The Browns haven't done much right, represented by their terrible win ratio of roughly 1/3 in the 2000s and 2010s, but for the most part, they have succeeded in drafting and signing offensive linemen. In particular, this man, drafted in 2007, did not miss a single snap until he tragically tore his left triceps tendon in 2017, which ended his no doubt Hall of Fame career. Who was this? And I will have the answer later in the podcast. As I said, it was a heartbreaking loss for the Browns today, as the Browns lose to the New York Jets by the final score, 31-30, late in the fourth quarter on the final minute 15 at First Energy Stadium today. The reason for this loss is Cade York's missed field goal and a big letdown by the defense, which led to a late Jets TD in the final minute of the fourth quarter. And the Jets recovered an onside kick, won the game. This is all about the Browns' defense, of course, but let's not excuse a fake punt and a missed extra point as well, too long with the onside kick. But Amari Cooper scored a 6-yard TD in the first half, his first as a member of the Cleveland Browns. And right now I'm going to recap that game. And I am not a happy camper because I felt we should have won this game today. And if I'm starting off, I apologize. But I am just upset right now. All right, first quarter. The Jets went 3 and out to 3 plays and 9 yards and had to punt. The Browns scored their first touchdown of the game. Jacoby Brissett to Nick Chubb, left tackle for the 4-yard TD. Cade York's extra point was good, and it was 7-0 Browns. And in the first quarter. No, I don't want to do that. Then the Jets scored their first touchdown of the game. Come on, baby. Joe Flacco passed short right to Garrett Wilson for a 2-yard touchdown, which I felt the Browns gave him a little too much running room with that, and it was the game was tied at 7. And at the end of the first quarter. In the second quarter, the Browns scored their second touchdown of the game. Jacoby Brissett short right to Amari Cooper for a 6-yard touchdown. As I said, his first as a member of the Cleveland Browns. And it was, the extra point was good by Cade York, and it was 14-7 Browns at the start of the second quarter. The Jets fumbled the ball had a fumble as they had the ball. It was Joe Flacco sacked for -8 yards. Clowney fumbles, but it was recovered by Clowney at the Cleveland 21. And so, and the Browns got the ball back and went 3 plays for -2 yards and had to punt. And then the Jets scored their second touchdown of the game. And it was Joe Flacco passed short right to Brandon Hall, excuse me, for for the 10-yard touchdown, and Greg Zuerlein's extra point was good, and it was tied at 14 at halftime. And it was tied at 14 at halftime. In the third quarter, the Browns got as close. Jacoby Brissett had a pass to complete short right to at third and goal to Harrison Bryant, and there was no gain. And then the Browns, Cade York kicked a 52-yard field goal, and it was 17-7 Browns. It was 17-14 Browns, excuse me. My bad. And then the Jets went 3 plays and 22 yards and had to punt. And then the Browns went 4 plays and 22 yards and had to punt. And then the Jets got as close as the Cleveland 39. Greg Zuerlein with the 57-yard field goal was good. And we're tied at 17. So, and we were tied at 17 at the end of the third quarter. In the fourth quarter, the Browns scored their 3rd touchdown of the game, and Nick Chubb, right tackle, for the 7-yard touchdown. Cade York, extra point is good. This one was good. It was 24-17 Browns. And then the Jets went 3 plays and 6 yards and had to punt. Now the Browns went 6 plays and 19 yards and had to punt. The Jets went 3 plays and 3 yards with 1:37 and had to punt. Then the Browns scored their 3rd touchdown of the game, and it was Nick Chubb, left tackle, for the 12-yard touchdown. And it was Cade York with the extra point. It was missed. That was the mixed extra point that I felt Cade York should have made. And that would have helped, because that would have put the game into overtime. That would have done it, and that would have helped us out to try to get the win in overtime. But that was not the case. And then after... then the Jets went 3 yards, and 6 plays not the punt, and the Browns went 19 yards. And actually, no, it's after that the Browns and 3 points, and the Browns scored their 4th touchdown of the game, and it was that's when it was missed. That field goal I mentioned, that was 30-27. Excuse me, to 24. Yeah, because it was 24-17. There were 3 announced because they had to punt. All 3 teams did. And then after that, this is when it happened. We had a big letdown by the defense with this play, and it was Joe Flacco passed short middle for a 15-yard touchdown, and that's what caused that big letdown. And the Browns and then Zuerlein's extra point was good. It was 31-30 Jets. And the fans were stunned, and so were the Browns. They were upset. And then the Browns had an interception. Jacoby Brissett deep, intended for Amari Cooper, and it was intercepted by Davis at the Jets 36 to the 50 for a 14-yard gain. And then all the Jets did was have to kneel, and because it was intercepted in the final 22 seconds, and that nonetheless the Jets win. They stun the Browns, and they lose their home opener by the final score of 31-30. But I can't give the game balls to the Browns. I got to give them to the Jets. But I am going to give Amari Cooper one for his first touchdown as a member of the Cleveland Browns. He's going to get one. And so, Joe Flacco, 26 of 44 carries and attempts, 307 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. I think it was either Brian Hall or Brendan Hall. Brees Hall, excuse me, scored that one Jets touchdown. It was Brees Hall, and I said the wrong name. I'm sorry. 7 attempts, 50 yards, and Garrett Wilson, 8 receptions, 102 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So this loss is heartbreaking and inexcusable. And we got Pittsburgh coming up Thursday night here at First Energy Stadium. And boys, you are not going to 1-2. You're going to 2-1. You are going to beat Pittsburgh Thursday night. You are going to beat them Thursday night. You're going to do it in week 3 next week. You are going to beat Pittsburgh this Thursday night here at First Energy Stadium. You're going to beat them, and you're going to go to 2-1. And you got to be ready to play that game and come out, score early, and score at the end to win games. So really secure the victory. You boys are not going to 2-1. You're going to look at your mistakes. You're going to correct them. You're going to question everything, but you're going to make adjustments. You're going to correct all these mistakes, and you are going to win this game. And no questions asked. And I am serious. But I took the Browns for that win and lost on that one, and so did my brother-in-law, Eric Hoyle. And I'm going to go over the picks of the week and go over all the early games. But before I do that, it is time right now to reveal the answer to today's Scott Sports 101 NFL Football Sunday Week 2 trivia question. The Browns haven't done much right, represented by their terrible win ratio and roughly 1/3 in the 2000s and 2010s, but for the most part, they've succeeded in drafting and signing offensive linemen. In particular, this man, drafted in 2007, did not miss a single snap until, tragically, he tore his left triceps tendon in 2017, which ended his no-doubt Hall of Fame career. Who was this? And if you said the great Joe Thomas, who was honored today and became a legend, you are correct. Thomas was an elite tackle who embodied team spirit, toughness, and leadership. While the Browns teams in general haven't been averse to misery, Thomas going down in Week 7 in a Week 7 game against the Titans was akin to ripping off the soul of the team, and it was a truly unfair and terrible way to end a career mirrored in a losing amidst all of his loyalty. Joe Thomas ended up largely inspiring himself personally as I played football in junior high and high school. He played it in leagues to also stick it out on the field, done the number 73 to reflect his choice of number. I will have another trivia question on my next podcast, so stay tuned for that. Now to go over all of the early games from today and preview the late games. The Chiefs beat the LA Chargers Thursday night, 27-24 at Arrowhead Stadium. And it was a great game between them. So you already know that one. I took the Chiefs and won on that one. So did my brother-in-law. The New England Patriots beat the Pittsburgh Steelers on Heinz Field, 17-14. But Pittsburgh had a golden opportunity and just couldn't do it. I took Pittsburgh and so did my brother-in-law. We both lost on that one. The Indianapolis Colts were ran all over by the Jacksonville Jaguars, 24-0 at Everbank Field in Jacksonville today. And I took both my brother-in-law and I took Indianapolis, and we lost on that one. The Detroit Lions beat the Washington Commanders 36-27 at Ford Field in Detroit today. And boy, I was surprised the way Detroit, they look great today. I'll be back with the rest of the scores right after.